All right, so we are live. We are live. So we are here with Cottrell Waterproofing, Basement Waterproofing, and Denny. First of all, thanks for coming out. I'm going to let you take the mic. I'm going to come behind, but I'm going to let you talk. We're going to be on here for 15 minutes. So let's take it from the top. How'd you get involved in doing this, and what areas do you service? And go ahead and talk.
Okay. I've been a mason building foundations since 1988. It was my first real big job. 2000 was about the point, 2000, 2001 in that general area, when I started going out my own and making a paycheck for myself. Most of us who built a business from the ground up remember the days where you didn't get a paycheck, but your name was on a t-shirt or a business card, and you were trying to build it up. So I had to work 2 jobs in order to make the thing float. The unique thing about what I do, pretty much everything about me is unique, one of a kind type deal, is not many people realize, but when I started my business out, 73% of my full-time job money was going to pay for my kids for child support for divorce. So that little bit of money that I had left over that wasn't being paid was what was starting the business. And those were tough times. Those were really tough times, and they were well worth it. They carved into me a lot of character and whatnot. That being said, your history in business is your resume. A lot of companies don't have that. They spring up. They spring up real fast, and you really don't know what you're dealing with. So let's talk about that a little bit. Waterproofing. Most people don't understand how the water gets there because they weren't there when the house was built. Okay, me being a bricklayer, there's been so many foundations where the hole was dug because it's below grade, and we couldn't lay block on the footer because it was flooded. It was flooded. It's normalcy, but homeowners don't.
You mean so when you started the house, it was flooded for
the footer? The hole was in the ground. The footer was there for the block work to be on, but we couldn't get down in there and work because it was full of water. And this is normalcy. So the builder, what they do is they get out a pump, gas-powered pump. They pump the water out so that the mason can get down there and lay the block. Now, you're thinking that's crazy, right? But your land that you own is valueless unless there's a structure on it. It's absolutely valueless. So they have to, sometimes builders, what they'll do is they'll bring in truckload and truckload of dirt to go over swampland or creek beds to level them out for a few years, and then they develop on them. But what they develop, they dig down through all that dirt that they put on there, and then you're back to source again. So most people don't understand that, and that's what I've lived through, what I've seen, what I've been part of.
So it's a dirty job.
It's a dirty job, and you've got to understand the root of the problem. It's not something that just develops. It's always been there, but it's not really been something the homeowner has dealt with yet.
Is there different types of soils, like how water moves through it? Or?
It is. Gettysburg area, up in the mountain regions, all the rocky ground, so to speak, is pressurized. They're the worst ones for waterproofing, as well as clay soil. Clay soil is sort of like a pool liner. Water doesn't flow out it. You can fill
really?
It. Yeah, it just fills up. We had for example, we had a customer who was being harassed by their neighbor for the discharge water going across the property to the next. So we dug an 8-foot deep, 8-foot wide square hole in the ground, and we dumped it in there with pipes and everything. And when I was 2 foot below the ground surface digging it, I saw that it was clay, and I told the homeowner this isn't going to work, and he said, go ahead, keep going with it. So we got the job done, pumps came in, I got a phone call the first big rain that he's got a pool in his backyard. And I said, let me guess, the water came out from when we were building, or we dug the hole and filled it up, and from there it went out. And he goes, yeah, how do you know that? I said, I told you it was clay soil, this wasn't going to work. And it took weeks for the water to subside from the dirt. There was no liner in there. That's what clay soil does. It won't allow water to flow through it unless there's mouse holes or things like that going into the surface.
So it's like if you make a clay bowl,
That's
the
just
water's
hardened.
not going through that
It's
clay.
just hardened, yeah, it's the same thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
So how do you work with that? Years of experience, training. I mean,
If you put the waterproofing system in there for a
Uh-huh.
place for water to go, that's what works.
so if someone's having a hard time with a clay situation or a water
Yep.
situation, and they're like, "Why won't I
Yep.
go through?" They should call you, and you
Yep.
can come out and do an inspection.
Yep, and people really gotta understand that house foundations were never made to be waterproof. They were made to put wood above ground, and the only way to put wood on your house above ground is to put masonry below. That's all they ever made for. Back to credibility and history.
Yeah.
Okay. Most companies, we've seen them. They start in one business name, and then there's lawsuits that happen, and they're ashamed, and then they change the business name. When I started out my business, like I said, I was paying 73% of my income to child support. I started out as a general contractor. It was Heritage Construction. My fiance didn't like the name, but I didn't want to put my name in the company because I was terrified it was something new. So I did anything. If you wanted it done, I did it. I realized that was a big mistake because now I'm a handyman. And handyman, if you're going to work for 50 cents less than me an hour, everybody's going to go to you because you're a handyman. There's no credibility there. So about 2 years after starting that whole thing, I decided, well, I needed to put my name into it, and I needed to put something that my passion is, and that's masonry. So it went from Heritage Construction to Cottrell Masonry Restoration. And it went that way because I wanted people to know who they're dealing with. I didn't want to be in the background, so to speak. But then again, I found out that I can't really push myself for waterproofing when I'm a mason, because people don't make the connection because of all the high glamorous advertising for waterproofing. It's glitz and glamour. It's beautiful, but it actually comes back to a block. Is what it comes back to. So,
And is that mostly what do we have mostly around here? We're in central Pennsylvania.
it is a hodgepodge. It is block foundations. It is cement foundations. It is old ash concrete foundations. It is stone foundations.
Monolithic pours.
Monopores. It is.
Is there slabs around here much?
Yes, slabs are in Shrewsbury down near Strawberry Fields in Shrewsbury, because that was built on springs and wetlands, so they had to spread the weight out. And just so you know, everybody that's out there and all you house floppers, if you got a monolithic pour and you got a contract that comes in and it needs waterproof, and they're talking about going through that floor to waterproof your basement, let me tell you, you're losing a house. Once you go through that floor the whole way, the house starts sinking years later, because that floor is 10 to 13 inches thick, and it's designed to spread the weight out over a massive area because the ground is too soft, and that's the only way to stop it from sinking. So also monolithic pours. Here is your I love it, concrete floor on the foundation, and they put the block on this. The bottom course of block is usually where water comes through and leaks first. Monolithic pours, they leak easier because the joint where it's at gets pressurized there in a way that normal foundations don't.
So your reputation in this business is huge. I mean, that's huge, right? I mean, you know.
Well, I didn't make the mistake of, you're paying me today, I'm walking away from you, and I'm boasting my chest, and I'm just like, no. I treat every customer like you're the first one that I walked up at your door, and I had that old truck, a Chevy truck that had oil spots everywhere and rust on my tools. Every single customer I treat this way. I don't get lost in the clouds.
Well, I do want to say one thing. You know, we were
Uh-oh.
talking about this earlier was, listen, it's not whether you have to go on social media. All the owners and business people that do, people are going to gravitate naturally. If you can do business with someone you've gotten to know, it's natural. You're going to do that. So the ones that don't are going to be left out, not because it's just a natural flow.
Yep.
So, you know, I mean, it's a great thing. First of all, glad you were here. But showing face means you got nothing to hide.
Right.
Right? Here we are. This is the old way of doing business. Here's my name. My name is everything. And that's what I love about.
How long ago was it that you actually met me in Dallastown? How many months ago was that?
Gosh, that was the beginning of, I mean, it had to be almost a year ago, wasn't it?
So we met each other.
Like this.
Yeah, and I gave
Right by Rob Burritos in Dallastown.
I said, hey, meet. I want to give you my check. I didn't want to get out here and rush to do this because it's not me. I already got a reputation that's really solid. So it's just getting it matched up that we could sit together like this.
And I was like, hey, we got to get together, guys.
The waterproofing industry is really interesting. Usually it's people trying to downplay each other. I've come from a networking background. B&I networking, I was in that for 6.5 years. I actually was the president and the VP of the York chapter that meets at Heritage Hills. So
what is that for anyone? If you
Business Networking International. They meet once a week, and
they still do it.
Yeah. Oh, it's all over the world. But I'm known, and I made phone calls to all the waterproofing companies, and the ones that didn't hang up the phone and say, "Hey, Cottrell, why are you calling me?" And I'm like, "I'm calling to talk to you. I have a referral for you in an area of the county or state that I'm not going to do, but I'd like to give it to you. And here's the information because someone has to call them up, and I respect you, so here it is." And I actually created a little bit of behind the scenes friendship.
Kyle says hi, Daddy. Thanks for working so hard.
Who does?
Kylie says hi.
Thank you. Daddy,
thanks for working so hard.
Oh, my daughter. Yes, my family's watching. Let's talk about differences in companies because I want to do 4 different videos, and this will be the beginning, but hopefully some people are still here. There's some things on here that is not normal for waterproofing industries. All right, we have a lifetime warranty on our sump pumps. We're the only cat, other than one way up in Philadelphia, that just started doing it because they're trying to copy what we're doing. If I can't give you another sump pump down the line, there's something wrong. Most systems are designed so that when the pump goes out, there's a large charge, and it's an emergency charge for the pump replacement. My company's not set it that way. My company's engineered so that your basement's dry, even when there's 4 inches of rain, and I'm home sleeping, I'm not going to get the call because you're fully protected. Another big difference with our systems is every company that's out there, I don't care where you look, who you call, they only put 1 pump inside that pit, inside that basement.
And isn't it like 100 feet or something every...
1 for every 100 feet. All right.
And there's people that are supposed to do it. Like, you know, I know a little bit. Yeah. And they just go out there, you go out there, and you feel so bad that somebody took advantage of, and they'll never show face, and that's exactly it. I mean, think about the gravity of showing face.
Yep. You know, it's funny. No one realizes, like, this floor is not level. No basement floor is level. It's all sloped one direction or another. It's just the way to do it.
And like sidewalks and everything, if you look at one that's not, it has a puddle, it wasn't done right.
So some companies will sell you a cove channel system that goes above the floor in your basement, and then they put the sump basin, because that water's got to come out somewhere, put the sump basin uphill so it doesn't flow correctly, because they don't know, because they're not tradespeople, they don't know that the floor's sloped. They don't put a level on it. They don't have a flow. So we don't put one pump in our pits. We put 2. Every installation is 2. All right? Wow. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's what my insurance guy says. Because everything you do is overkill. And I'm like, I sleep well with that. I'm not afraid to go to the carnival, to the fair, and have you walk up to me, because when you do, you're shaking my hand.
Oh.
You know? Oh. So the purpose of 2 pumps in every sump basin is simplistic.
Oh.
One is 6 inches higher than the other. It's the service call that I don't have to get up to at night. It's the 4 guys, employees, that I don't have to pay to stand around and wait for the phone call.
And integrity is priceless. Here's the thing. People want to put more money in their pocket. I'm telling you that if you put less in your pocket and spread out what you're doing, you can sleep better. Integrity means something.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, I can't imagine going through, I'm in town every day. Right? I walk away from people. Don't force people. So showing face is awesome. And in this business, I don't know anyone that shows face.
Yeah,
you know, so there's only one other person I know that shows face. So to show face is awesome.
Yep.
You know, and I think that's great for our community because they're seeing businesses rise up in the opportunity of social media.
Yeah. So you got 2 pumps in every pit. So when the lower one burns out, instead of it flooding, because when you put a waterproofing system in there, you're allowing the water to free flow into that house, under that floor. People don't get that. And then they go and they remodel, and they'll put $50,000 worth of remodeling in because it's waterproofed. And you got one electrical pump that saves the day. Okay? And then people put a battery backup, but you don't understand that most plumbers put a 900 gallon per hour battery backup when it takes 2,200 gallons usually AC power to keep you dry. So they got a battery backup, and the water flows in, and they can't pump them enough, so it floods anyway. People just aren't educated.
Wow.
So we put the 2 in there, and what happens is when the lower one burns out one day, and our pumps are liquid cooled instead of internally oil cooled, because they're designed to run nonstop like a pond filter, or pond fountain, so to speak. But the second one kicks on, the water level inside the sump basin changes a little bit, and you can see all this because another unique thing about us is we put clear lids on our pits.
Wow.
Every pit lid is clear lids, all right? And, oh, that's the wrong one. That's Josh King. That's his card. Our business card, you'll see, is clear. Look at that. Clearly different. And the reason is, we put the clear lid on top of our pit lid so that when it's raining and you're a little bit worried, you go downstairs, stand there and just look in there. And you can see the action of the mechanism of the waterproofing system work. It puts you at ease.
Yeah, people want to see it. That's really cool.
I've had so many phone calls during hurricanes where people, their neighbors are flooded, and they're down there drinking wine, getting a little toasted, calling me up so happy because they're on a garden chair by the sump basin, drinking, and they're dry. Because they can see it work. They didn't have to take the nuts and bolts, because who does that? No one does that.
No one does that.
So, I mean, everything I do to, if you were if you were another business owner in waterproofing, I'm not doing anything the way you do it. Nothing. It's going to be different. And it's different for a reason. We're blazing our own path. And it's not a path of perfection because we have obstacles every day, but every obstacle is an opportunity. Every obstacle is an opportunity, and it's how you handle that opportunity is whether you sink or swim, and that's where your history and your credibility in the industry, whatever industry you're in, comes into play.
You have a Kylie and I have a Kylie.
Really?
Yeah, I have a Kylie. Kylie's my youngest. So
Kylie's that Kylie there, my daughter. She is gymnastics. She's the flyer.
Wow.
And she is awesome.
Wow.
All my kids are awesome. She's awesome.
Yeah, no, I have a big shout out. My 4 children and my wife came to the grand opening. I want to shout out to a couple people before we wrap this up. Jacqueline Markley, thank you. She said hi to say hi to you, Denny. Hi, Jacqueline. Michelle Long, like most of the people that I know are all business owners. Jacqueline has Daughter's Cafe in the Hanover Mall. And I know people don't understand the Hanover Mall. It's in a regeneration. Her business is growing so much she moved to a new spot in the Hanover Mall. Across from where I bought these shoes at Payless in the mall. She does farm to table. Like you, she's making it affordable.
Yeah.
You got farm to table in a restaurant in the mall. How cool is that?
It's original.
You don't see that much, right, in the mall.
You're
thinking fast food and all this stuff. You can go get farm to table. And her bacon bombs, her meatloaf, they're called bacon bombs, are set. They're wrapped in bacon and they're set on top of her homemade macaroni. Well, everything's homemade, macaroni and cheese from scratch. So her food is awesome. Love you. Thank you so much. Big shout out to Rami at the Car Place, Queen Street Car Dealer, Spring Garden Pre-Owned, Andrew. Todd Miller, thanks for coming out. Todd's awesome.
I know Todd.
Yeah, great. Appreciate all of you. Jennifer, Cottrell, thank you for being on here. Latif, thank you. Ed Camp, thank you.
Is Amanda Albright on there? She's a new viewer. She owns a accounting business in downtown on Main Street.
Okay, now Aaron Schwartz, B&B Metal Finishing, thank you. Sean Carter, Mickleway Burns, hi. Margalina Andrew Senef, he's Spring Garden LLC.
Yes, Andrew's a good guy.
Yeah. So,
One
cheerleader. She's a a flyer for cheerleaders. My daughters were cheerleaders.
Yeah. One last thing.
A flyer for cheerleaders. Yo, that's
Yep. One last thing I'll say before we get out of here, because I do have estimates, is the best advice I can give everybody is don't make your decision on who you use by the price. You can never have too many estimates. Think about what's going to cost you after this, because I come in just like this. I'm a terrible salesperson. I'm a terrible educator, a tradesman, and I try to get you to understand at your own level, wherever it's at. Because if you don't understand, I'm leaving with no business with you. So the best thing you do is, all right, here's the price. What's the reputation? Can they do it themselves? And do you feel comfortable in remodeling after this work's done? Wow. Everybody can be litigated. You know, warranties are warranties. But do you want to go and stick $30,000 to $50,000 in your basement after it's waterproof and not worry about having a lawsuit?
Oh, Jennifer Warner popped on. Hi, Jennifer. Thank you. Hey, you know what? I just think it's awesome, because anyone that's not getting on social media, listen, in 5 years, it's going to be a struggle to do business.
It is. And I do deal with another waterproofer that's in the area, and I got him on my back, so to speak, and
he talks about you and loves you and respects you.
We're going to go places, and I'm taking him along.
Nice, because all he does is you and one other person, or maybe that he just has nothing but admiration and respect for. Yep. Every time I see him, he talks about that. So, I was talking about, people need to understand time and circumstances change. You can't go dig up someone's yard, but if they needed some work done, they dig up, right? Yep. The same yard I talk about, the time and circumstances. That's a little example. They had the electric truck out here, right? Mm-hmm. They wouldn't want someone in the yard, but when the electric's out, they'll let you dig it up to anything you want, right? Just like right. They need waterproofing. Yep. People don't dig up their basement, but if there's water, guess what? Yep. Get at it.
Got it. Yep.
Right? And you're tearing it up.
Yep.
So, listen, tear it up today. Please share and invite. We promote small, mid-sized businesses. And if you want a better world, you better start making it local, and you better start sharing and inviting, because that's the new way to tell people about businesses that are willing to show face. We appreciate you. And he's a Mason, which I think is awesome. That just shows the tradesman level. Just not anybody's going to be a Mason. That's a cut above.
Yeah. It's a life.
Yeah. So we appreciate you. Thank you. I'm going to shut this down. You can say, how can they get a hold of you? What is your phone number?
Listen, our business line is 717-825-5145. And if you don't want to talk to us and you don't want to wait for someone to answer the phone, text message us 24/7. We'll get back to you. And that makes it easy for you. Everything is always about making it easy.
Boom. Scott Lutz, Lawn Care. Scott, how are you? There's another good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all. Have a good day. Please share and invite. Please share and invite Cottrell Waterproofing. Boom. You can get a hold of them. You guys are on Facebook?
Yes. Boom. Facebook and on the web, CottrellBasementWaterproofing.com.
Boom. Thank you.